Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. Got a very special guest, someone I've been meaning to talk to for a while. The very talented PRODBYMRII.
What's up?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. Yo, you're a busy person. And I really think we could talk about a lot of cool stuff today, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too.
Amazing, man. So I know you've done interviews before. I know you kind of told your story, but for the Vigilante viewers, talk a little bit about your background, just kind of where you grew up, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Brampton. I still live in Brampton. My background in terms of music or as an artist, so I started with music since before I could remember even. Okay. So my grandfather's family in India, they had a Indian classical music school. So their whole family was always like practicing music. That was like their main thing. So then when my dad came to Canada, he was like, I want my kids to grow up learning this too, just the way I did. So in 2006, he started the music school here too, like for students to come and learn. So with my grandfather, they started a whole thing with hundreds of students coming in and out of my house on a weekly basis to learn Indian classical music. And with that, I was teaching and learning at the same time as I was growing up. So doing that, performing at shows like that they were hosting for the students and then for other artists from India, that is kind of like what started the music journey for me. And then that really allowed me to like gain like an intuitive connection with music to the point where it's like it's coming from within, like not from my head, you know. And then I come to like middle school and high school, and I started to find my own voice in the music. Up until then, I was just practicing what I was told to practice. Okay. Yeah. So then I discovered like R&B, hip hop, and pop music, jazz, and then like I discovered like how I could express myself through it. So what I started with though wasn't making music. It was like making mixes on GarageBand on my laptop. And that got me into DJing as I got into high school. Right. So then DJing got me into, like, production. Like, I was getting ideas and stuff. I was like, okay, I really got to make some music. So then eventually I opened up Logic Pro on my dad's computer, tried to play around with some stuff, and made my first beat inspired by SZA's Control. And that was when I was like, okay, like, this is what I want to do. And then I applied to college for music. So I went to Fanshawe College and learned about music production, engineering, the business side, and that was like really when everything just came together for me, because like I learned like what I didn't know, because there was so much that I didn't know, and yeah, that's kind of where everything began for like PRODBYMRII. That's how you were born. Yeah. I love that, man. That's so interesting. So you had people coming in and out of the house, and you were teaching at how old were you when you were teaching? Like 12 to like 14. So I still teach today, so you were 10 years old teaching. What were you teaching? I was teaching so harmonium is like the instrument, but on like a keyboard, electric keyboard, because it's easier for them to learn on that first, and then also like singing. Were you teaching adults? Yeah. How was that? It was fun. It was really funny for me as a kid, because sometimes I'd be teaching adults and like they'd be like way older than me, and there'd also be like ego things going on. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like it's really simple. Like to me, it was just straightforward. I didn't have to think too much about the music. I was like, it's just singing like this. Yeah. And then they would have a like trouble doing it, some of them, you know, like, and it was just a funny experience. It was a cool experience. That's unreal, man. You definitely seem like a natural. That's like as in the blood as possible. It is. It really is. Yeah. That's super cool, man. So you went to Fanshawe. Was there ever a time where you weren't thinking music, or you were always like that's where your brain was going? There was. So grade 9 till 11, I wasn't really sure of like what I was going to do. When it came to classes and stuff, I was taking like all the sciences. I was like, you know, those are really interesting. At one point in like the 11th grade, I was like really grinding in biology, because I was like, that's really cool. Maybe I'll go into something like that. But, you know, like, it was never, like, 100%. The heart wasn't in it. Yeah. Yo, that's so real, man. Like, I remember in my high school days, too, it was a lot of that outside pressure. Like, what are you going to do? This and that. It was always, like, very serious. And I think it's so good to remember the simplest, like, what do you enjoy doing? Yeah. You know, let's see how that
where that could take us. That's real. What was the deciding thing? Like, no, fuck this. I'm doing music. Man.
So I got really lucky in high school. I had like an amazing music teacher who's like if you watch the Dead Poets Society, like the connection that the students had to the teacher.
Yes, is that with Robin Williams?
Yeah. That's the kind of like teacher that he was. So he really like he put me in a position to be like the lead of like the technical and production side of the like the theater shows that happened, the dance shows, all of the AV stuff, and that really like put me like he showed me like, oh, not just him actually, also one of my broadcasting and media teachers. So I took that too in high school, and both of those teachers they just like told me like, you don't need to go to university. Like I first thought like I need to go to university, but yeah, they're like telling me like, you can make a career out of this, you can do it. And then those like inspiring messages and them just like telling me like, you're doing it already, like you got this. That's what really made me like realize like, okay, this is it, you know?
Right. That's so big, man, especially at any age, but especially at that age, to have someone that supports you, that sees talent in you. Like, oh, I'm not crazy. I could actually do this because these people believe in me. Like, that's very important. I'm glad that you listened to them, too.
Yeah.
You know, because it could have gone the other way.
And, like, the other thing was, like, those are the two classes in which I like, felt the most me. And, like, I was giving my all in those classes for all the projects and stuff. And they saw that. I saw that, too. And I was like, yeah, this is it.
That's real, man, because that can't be faked.
Exactly.
Like, you can tell when someone's not into something. You can tell when someone's really into something, you know? Oh, that's amazing, man. So you said at Fanshawe you learned about the business side of things. Was that ever something you thought you'd get involved with, or just kind of, you know, you get to school and learning?
Yeah, I didn't really think too much about it before that. Like, I knew that was something that I would eventually need to learn. And, like, I always, like, saw my dad kind of dealing with that stuff. But I never thought, like I would have to learn it or to, like, just go into that. But I'm glad I did. Like, it's worth it. It's helping me a lot.
Because I see you, like, the things that you do. I know you plan a lot of events. You host a lot of stuff. And I don't know if people know how much goes into those, man. Like, I've done some small events just with a few people. I'm like, holy shit, there's so much to deal with here.
Yeah.
When did you first get into that, man? Yeah.
So, like I said, like, my dad had been doing that since 2006.
Yep.
So I was already always a part of those things, maybe not in, like, the management side, but just seeing them manage it and then helping out in whatever way they thought I could help them. So for me to do it, it didn't feel like I was doing too much, you know? It felt pretty natural.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like a family business.
It really is, yeah.
Do you go to your dad for advice on these types of things?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice to have, too.
It is.
A little confidant in your back pocket there.
Yeah.
And he's only going to tell you the best. That's real, man.
Yeah, always a reality check.
Hell yeah.
It's cool.
So when did you start making your own music?
I started in 2017 is, like, when I first made my first beat, and I was like, all right, like, that's where it actually started. But when it comes to, like, writing songs and stuff, I'd say 2018.
Okay. And that's SZA time.
Yeah.
You like that emotional stuff?
Yes. So my first song was my first song was called How I Feel. Okay. It's on my Spotify, but I don't really rep it too much. It's there. It was my first official song, but I don't count that because it wasn't. Yeah, it was just for fun. But yeah, like, I would say Feeling Ways would be the first song.
Okay.
Yeah.
SZA's dope, man. Like, I don't really listen to too much R&B, but she always had some, like, experimental sounding beats and stuff like that. She put out, like, a 3-song thing in, like, I forget the name now, like 2015, Ice Castles or something like that.
I don't remember either.
I'm like, this is fire. Like, this is just something new. So I could definitely see how you can get inspired by her.
Yeah.
Did you see she recently was kind of beefing with a Toronto rapper?
Damn, I didn't see about that.
Yeah. I'll show you after. Crazy. Yeah. Shout out to SZA, though.
Yeah, shout out SZA.
That's so funny. But so the DJing, did that start pushing you into the event space?
It did. Okay. It opened a lot of doors for me, actually. I'm really grateful to be able to be a DJ because, yeah, it did a lot.
You're kind of like the host of the party. You're the soundtrack of the party. essentially you control everything.
Yeah, the master of ceremonies.
100%. How'd you start getting involved in throwing those types of... I know your dad was always doing it, but what was that first thing where you're like, I gotta try this out?
Yeah, for me, it was like I was already making those mixes just for myself with music that I really liked.
Yep.
And then at home growing up, whenever my cousins would come over, I would just play music on virtual DJ because we loved to have like dance parties together.
Right.
So it was like 6 of us, like 6 kids just like turning it up like a club all the time. And then, yeah, so virtual DJ. And then I started DJing for smaller events like for family parties and then like also award ceremonies for my brother's cricket team this one time.
Dope.
And that was even before like I was an actual DJ. It was still on like my laptop without a controller and stuff. But then I saw like I went to this one workshop at Long and McQuaid, a free workshop for like DJing, and I saw this guy DJing. I was like, okay, I need to buy this controller and just dive into it. So then, I think like 2 weeks later, I went back and just made took the what's it called, like just dropped the ball on it, you know, like I just took the.
You dove in.
Head first. I just dove in. Yeah.
No, that's real, man. I really like what you said about. You started off like doing your brother's events and stuff like that. Like that's such a great way to get your feet wet, to start doing a craft. Like you need anything it is, you need to practice. You need some experience to have people that you're like, oh, I could do this, and they're down. Let's do it, man. Yeah,
and then when I got my first controller, I just started practicing, and it just because I was already so familiar with the music and it was just such a natural thing for me, I instantly kind of just got a grasp of it. And then I practiced a little bit. I got a couple like baby shower gigs and stuff, and eventually I just started getting better and better at it.
You're building a business.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Were you always supporting yourself with the music, or were you doing jobs on the side as well?
I did work a little bit. My parents owned a Booster Juice.
No way.
I worked there for a while, like all throughout high school. And yeah, and I also worked at other Booster Juices, like when I was in college and stuff.
Just remember the Jose Bautista cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, I remember that too.
That's fire. So, after doing the DJing with your brother stuff, how did you start branching off into like the bigger events, the downtown events? I see you do that a lot.
Yeah. So I always knew I wanted to do that. Like I felt like a calling to it. Like every time I'd be in a space like that, every time I still remember this one time I went to Quebec and I was walking by like the Bell festivals. They were setting it up, and I felt like I cried just because of how connected I felt to it, you know. And how I got into
music festival, sorry.
Yeah, music festival. So how I got into it was like I think the first thing that really got me into like the club and thing scene was like. In London, Ontario, I went to this restaurant called the El Furniture Warehouse. They have a DJ there in the evenings, and I just like went up to the DJ that was working this one night, and I was like, hey, like I'm a DJ too. I really like the songs you're playing, and then we connected. We talked a little bit, got each other's Instagram, and then a couple days later, he's just like, hey, you want to play here? I was like, yes. And then the next week, I had like my first trial day, and since then, like I was like their DJ after for a while, and people were really like rocking with my music. People would like request me to come in for like their special birthdays and stuff. Yeah.
That's unreal. What were you playing?
I was playing a lot of hip hop, R&B, and like new trap music and stuff.
Yep.
And it was pretty lit.
That's so fucking cool, bro. Like I really respect that, because to do that, to just go up to someone you don't know in general is, you know, it can be scary.
Yeah, it was.
What were you? Did you have to like talk yourself into that, or you're like, nah, I'm fucking doing this?
Yeah, I was with my friend, and I was like, hey, like I think I'm gonna go talk to the DJ, and they're like, are you gonna do that? I'm like, I think I'm gonna do it, and then like I just did it.
Good for you, man. Again, I think that's that music in the blood. Like it makes you do something where you might not be natural, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's fucking real. That's an unreal story, man.
Thank you.
So that touches on something that I've noticed with you too. You're very good at networking. Like, you know, check your Instagram out. You know a lot of different people. Very well connected. Did DJing and being in that music scene help you with that?
A lot, yeah. Just being out there like that a lot helped me build my like communication skills. Before I couldn't even like say hi. When I worked at Booster Juice, I still remember like my managers would tell me like say hi when a customer walks in, and I couldn't even do that, you know? But now it's like I'll go up and have a whole life conversation with a stranger. So yeah, being at those events and stuff, it's just like, hey, my name is Marie. what's your name? That really helps, just doing that.
That's facts. I feel like it also helps to have something, like a topic to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're in a space, like a music event, for example, you all make music. It's a clear, like, easy intro.
It is, it is. What I mean? And, like, as an artist, I have something to share, and I know, like, the person in front of me probably has something to share for me as well. So I'm always interested in, like, learning about them and stuff. Yeah,
that's real, man. You never know who you might meet. You never know what they are up to.
That's always what I'm thinking about, yeah.
Potential. 100%. So you grew up in Brampton. Were you going downtown to different shows and stuff like that?
Not until, like, 2020. Like, after the pandemic. That's when I really started. 2021, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this something where, like, nah, I got to get more involved in what's going on?
So I always wanted to, but my parents were like, it's not safe to go downtown. You're too young and stuff. I still remember. But I started, like, the first show that I went to in, like, the community space was Spitty hosted this show for his album release for Full Circle.
Shoutout Spitty. Go watch that interview.
Yeah. So, yeah, he brought me on to perform our song Room for Improvement. And
you got a song together?
Yeah,
what the fuck? How did I miss that?
Yeah.
I'm going to go check that.
Yeah, it's a really good song. So, yeah, he invited me to perform Room for Improvement as well as one of my own songs. So that really, really got me into, like, connecting with a lot of people. I met so many of my, like, closest, like, music friends today at that show.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's, like, the first of so many. After that, he, like, invited me to a couple more other shows downtown. I got to know about these different venues that were, like, hosting events for years and stuff. That really, like, opened my eyes to the whole, like, music scene. And then since then, it's just been, like, pulling me back, you know? Like, yeah.
Going to see that kind of downtown culture is very addictive.
It is.
Like, you're from Brampton, I'm from Mississauga, like, really good places to grow up, but not too much to do after a certain point, you know? You felt that too?
I totally felt that.
Kind of got to get out there, especially in the city of Toronto, most diverse city in the world, in my opinion. So much going on.
Yeah, so it's a different world.
It is. It's funny, though. Like, we're, like, 20, 30 minutes away, but it's a different world for real.
Completely.
When COVID, you mentioned kind of after COVID, you started going out. Were you kind of craving that? Like, I need some of this socialness. I need some of this live music, these events.
Not really, because I didn't know what I was missing.
Good point.
So at that point, I was just like, okay, like, I guess this is it, you know? Like, I'm at home doing my music and stuff. And I knew there was people kind of going out and stuff, but I didn't think, like, that I could be in those places too.
Right.
Until I was.
Yeah, it's like when you're on the outside, it seems so far away, but when you're doing it, it's everyone's really doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to make a name and do what they love to do. That's fucking real. Okay. I, again, was checking your IG, doing some research, and I like how you post every little while, like, an event list. Like, you'll post what's coming up, and it's like 10 different things.
Yeah.
How do you manage all that, man? Because you're not just a guest at them. Like, you're heavily involved.
Yeah.
How do you balance all that work?
It feels like natural to me, to be honest. Like, I feel like better, actually. I feel like a little bit more at ease doing that than, like, just being a guest at an event, you know? Because it's just like, okay, like, I'm pulling up, I'm setting up, like, I'm putting my energy into this space and, like, creating the vibe a little bit. So it feels really good.
That busyness, when you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like busy. It feels it's like it's fun, really.
It really is, yeah.
That's true. And then, obviously, the big thing I want to touch on is the Mixdown. I know, again, you've talked about that in another interview, but talk to me about that whole plan, that whole process, because, again, I really, really appreciate that, because I see the amount of work that goes in.
I really appreciate that.
100%.
So the Mixdown, I started that with an idea. It wasn't actually what it is today, the idea. So I wanted to, in 2020, I wanted to do a podcast and performance, like an online thing, like a video series, where it's kind of like I interview the artists and then I have them do a performance similar to, like, a color studio or main stage.
Right.
That was, like, my inspiration at the time. And then my dad suggested, it's like, yo, listen, after you do those, you should have a show in the summertime to to celebrate the artists that performed or that were on your show. And then what it came down to me doing the show before even getting into the podcast side.
That was first, and that's what we went with.
Yeah, just went with that.
Super dope. So what was the plan with that, though? Just anyone that hits you up come perform, or did you have some people in mind that you wanted to pull up?
So the initial idea too with it was like I have a lot of homies doing music, you know, and I see a lot of people that are really, really talented, but maybe don't have the same vision as me that I see for them, or it's like they're not reaching their full potential with like their media, like their social media, or the shows that they're performing at. And I was like, okay, I really want to be able to give them that platform, give them that content, that quality that I see that can elevate them as an artist, and also elevate how they go about doing shows and how they do their like relationships with other shows and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I've like, as somebody who was also just like for the first time experiencing a lot of different event organizers and just seeing how it was for me, like I was like, okay, like I see what I want to put into this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's unreal, man. You seem like very self-aware, and you feel like I feel like you're very fearless as well.
Yeah, I
like
try to be.
willing to try, willing to put yourself out there, and great things come from that. So it's very commendable.
Thank you.
Where was the first Mixdown held?
The first one was at a library. It's underneath a library in a concert space called the Palmerston Theater. It's just off Bloor and Bathurst.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right in front of the subway station.
And how did it go?
It was amazing. I honestly didn't know what to expect. Like, I was like, hey, maybe people will come. It was sold out. It was,
Unreal, man. And you were doing all the ticket stuff. You were doing all the business stuff.
All the marketing, all the promo, all the editing.
By
videos.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I love that. Good for you. And you were performing.
Yeah, DJing and performing and hosting it.
Good for you, man. That's
Thank you.
such a cool venture. That's like an inspiration. You're one person, you're able to do all that. That's unreal, man. And thinking going forward too, if you continue to grow it, the potential is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree.
That's so cool. I want to ask you though, because again, events and stuff like that, it's not easy to do. What were some hiccups that you dealt with through that process?
For me, for one, was like sometimes artists, like, they just weren't communicating with me the way I would have wanted them to. And like after the first one, I like learned, okay, like this is maybe what I can do to like prevent that, or to make sure I get the right communication with the artist.
Right.
But yeah, that was definitely one of them. And then also artists not really putting in the same energy that I wanted them to, or like that I was putting in for them, to give them the platform. Like maybe they weren't posting the flyers that I was making for them, or the production, like the promotion material and stuff.
Right.
So that was like kind of something that I had to work around. But definitely like after the first one, I was like, all right, this is what I need to do.
That's a great way to be, man. Take it as a learning experience. It's not personal.
Exactly.
How do we do better next time?
Exactly.
That's so real. And that was one thing I wanted to ask you too. Like, you seem very selfless, and you work with so many different artists, but that's not easy because they've got their goals as well.
Yeah.
How do you kind of manage doing what's best for Mri while also trying to help where you can?
Yeah. So I feel like in almost every situation where I'm helping another artist, like I'm learning from that. I'm getting to create something new. Like it's somebody else's idea, somebody else's energy that like I'm tapping into to learn something new about myself and what I can do. So most of the time, like it's because there's something like that. Like I'm still gaining something from that. But there are some cases where it's just like, all right, this situation doesn't serve me. This relationship, artist, producer, or whatever the relationship isn't serving me, and like I'll just see it as that. I'm like, sorry, man, I can't help you.
That's
but you
real.
know, yeah, most of the time,
business too. It's
it is.
Like I've talked to other artists about this. Like it's very important, I think, to keep it separate. Like the music is the passion, but the business has to be good too. You know.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where if it's not working, it's not working. It doesn't really help anybody.
Yeah, it's like as long as you're meeting me there, it's cool. Because like now we're both putting the same energy into it. We're both gaining something from each other from it, you know, energetically or like learning-wise. But if somebody's coming to me and then like not really bringing anything, you know, to the table. It's just like, okay, I'm sorry, like, I can't help you. Like, I think got too many things to deal with.
Very true, man, because exactly, you're supposed to elevate each other. It can't be you just dragging them along, you know, or vice versa. That's very true, man. Were there relationships developed through the Mixdown?
A lot. Like, one of my closest friends and co-producer and co-DJ named Rashika. Shout out Rashika. She's also from Mississauga.
Shout out Rashika. Okay, Mississauga. Let's get it.
I met her at the first Mixdown. And since then, we've just been so close. Like, we've been going to events together all the time, making music together, DJing. It's just a lot of fun.
Very cool, man. Were the friends that you had before you started making music supportive of what you were doing?
Yeah, they knew. Like, I always, like, since, like, I'll say 2016, I had a vision for myself. I'm like, I had a mood board, you know. I really looked up to Chantel Jeffries and then, like, a couple other female DJs from Toronto. And I was just, like, visualizing that for myself. And they knew, like, they're like, we see it for you. Right. So, like, yeah, they stuck with me through the way. And I'm really, like, grateful for that, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man, because you're right. Like, you'll meet so many great people, new people, but if they're also people that helped you before, it's the best of both worlds in a way.
Yeah, it is.
What's a mood board? Random question.
A mood board? Yeah. It's like kind of like this, you know, like this is kind of like a mood board for like artists in Toronto. It's kind of like a collage, right? You know, pictures. Like, if you look at my Instagram, if you go like to the bottom, that's kind of like my mood board as well, you know, like the pictures that I would like try to emulate the energy that like I want in my life, you know. For example, like I was really, really obsessed with like concert lighting, stages, that's like one of the things that before, like, that wasn't a part of my life, you know, and now that's like something I'm always in. So that's kind of a mood board, yeah.
I like that, man. Do you believe in that, like speaking things into existence?
I really do, yeah.
I do too. Because I think at the end of the day, it's just self-belief more than anything. If you can see it, you can damn near taste it.
Exactly.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
when you ask about, like, how do I, like, manage the Mixdown or, like, these events and stuff, it's like I just can, like, imagine and visualize myself there, and then, like, all the things that I'm doing and all the things I need to get done for me to, like, be able to, like, go through with that. So then after, like, visualizing that, it's like it just feels like it's already happening.
Right. It's pretty natural. It's not, like we kind of touched on already, it's not really work.
Exactly.
If you didn't give a shit about what you were doing, that would be work. You know, it's like, I'm not going to even do this, or it's too much. But you understand what it could be. Let's get it. Let's make it happen, you know?
Exactly.
So after the first Mixdown, did you know that you were going to do a second one?
Yeah,
you knew.
I did.
Did you know that before the first one that I
didn't, okay. No. I mean, like, I wanted to, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know it was going to become a thing. And
before that, you hadn't thrown your own event? I know you were involved in a bunch, but you never threw one.
None of my own, not really.
So you sold out your first event.
Yeah.
Yo, do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
How many tickets?
It was 120. It was the capacity of the venue.
Okay.
I think there were more people there.
120?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man. Because, yo, I talk to people about this, too. Like, it's not until you are throwing your own show or at a show that you're very involved with where you realize, damn, getting people to pull up is not that easy.
It's really not.
And they spent money to come.
Yeah.
That's huge, bro. 120.
Yeah.
What do you think the appeal was?
Honestly, I think it was it felt like a movement, and there was like a driving force with the Mixdown, and I feel like people saw that and they felt the energy, and they're like, yeah, I need to be there. I need to be in this room. I need to meet these people.
I agree. Yeah. That's honestly how I felt when I started hearing about you too. Like, I don't remember when. I think it was from Spitty probably, but seeing what you were doing, that's how I felt. Like, oh, there's a pretty sick movement coming up here.
Yeah.
And very organic too. I think that's you're not a corporation. You know, just you're underground. One person that really cares about what she's doing, and that's, I think, contagious. You know, people can see that.
Yeah. Another thing I think was like, and this is something that like I haven't felt too much at the events that I was a part of before I started the Mixdown, was like that like the real like intention behind it for me, for the people involved, and then also for like everyone that's there. Like if you're there, you're a part of me now. Like you're part of the Mixdown. You're like family, you know? There's like a family type of vibe and like a really welcoming, like we want you to be there type thing. So I feel like that also really like,
I love that.
Makes it different.
That's just good energy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good energy, good intentions, and yeah.
Good intentions. Everyone wants to be around that. Like that's energy that's contagious. We hear a lot about Toronto. Part of it is true that it's like the screw face capital, like it's, and there is aspects of that.
Yeah, I've experienced it myself. Like there's a lot of people that have like closed doors on me just maybe because they don't know who I am, or like they don't see the potential in me, or they're judging me off of what they see like on the outside, just like, oh, little girl, something like that.
You feel like you've gotten that before?
A lot. Yeah. Still to this day, like there's situations where I experienced that. I'm like, okay, like cool. You're not the only person in the city. Like there's more people. It's cool. That's
the best way to be. I feel like it's also they're kind of threatened.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah.
Like this little girl's doing this.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's true, man. No, that's real shit. I brought that up because there is that, but there's also, like, and you can see this at the Mixdown, there's the opposite of that, where there's actually really good people that want to see others win. And, you know, it's like a healthy competition, too.
Yes.
Like, if you're working your ass off, I got to work my ass off. You know, you're doing good stuff. I got to do good stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to I'm going to block you or I'm going to shit on you. And that's not helpful for anybody.
And that's another thing I really do with the Mixdown is, like, not only do I bring the artists together for the show, but before the show, I bring them together into my studio. I'm like, all right, you guys meet each other, become friends, perform for each other. Like, let's just have fun together and create content and stuff. And, yeah, and once again, it's just the intention behind it to create real connections and, like, help people get inspired by one another. Yeah.
100%, because I think sometimes we forget, too, music is art. You can't create art in, like, a shitty vibe.
You can't.
It doesn't work. It's got to be comfortable. It's got to be laid back. Like
it has to, like, flow. It has to come to you.
It's true. You have your own studio?
I do.
No way.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell location, but it's like...
at my house.
Oh, sick.
Brampton,
okay. Even better.
Yeah.
Dope. How long you been doing that?
Since the pandemic, so since 2020. My dad got it built in, like, 2012, I think. Yeah. Sick. And like he just had it, you know. He was like, I feel like you're gonna do something with it. I didn't touch it until 2018, and then once I came back from college when it was locked down. Yeah. In 2020 is when I was like, okay, like now I know what a professional studio is like. Now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what materials I need. So I was like, okay, we need to buy this, and this, and save some money. Bought stuff, eventually like built up the studio to like the professional level that I think like it needed to be at.
Dope. And, yeah. Do you rent it out? Do you like sell sessions and stuff like that?
I don't rent it out to other people just because it just feels really, it's like my home, you know?
100%.
But I do run sessions for artists. I have a lot of artists that come in and book my studio to like record with me, I engineer their music, I mix it for them. Sometimes I also like produce for them. One thing I really enjoy doing is like sitting with an artist and just making their beats for them and like feeling the energy that they're on and just creating like the most different and just like cool things that like they didn't even like expect to like hear for themselves.
You're like a musical wizard, man. Like, you know, there's a lot of great singers, great rappers, DJs, but you can do all of that. That's amazing, man.
Thank you.
Really respect it, because not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah. For me, I feel like it just goes hand in hand. Like, singing was what I started with, and then singing led to, like, playing a couple instruments naturally. Right. That led to making mixes of music that I liked, which made me DJ, which made me produce. Like, it's all the same.
That's true. No, that's true, man. And again, it goes back to, I think if you love what you're doing, you're willing to learn more about it. There's always something new to learn as well. I also like this podcast, VersatileVigilante. You're a great example of that. Very versatile. And I love that, man. Are there people in the music like business that you look up to as a kind of, I'm not say role model to say, like maybe not for the music they make, but how they kind of handle themselves, they move around?
There are. gotta remember like off the top of my head, but there are a lot of artists and maybe DJs.
Yeah, like the reason I say that is I see you as like potentially having your own label.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like really running shit or like running your own studio type thing.
Yeah, that's one of my goals.
That's one of your goals. I think you're well on your way, man. Executive producer.
Yes. I aspire to be an executive producer on a couple albums this year.
This year, okay.
This year, yeah.
Make it happen. How's that coming along?
It's coming along really nicely. It's a lot of work. I've noticed that, but it's totally worth it. Like, it's beautiful.
You'd say you're kind of a head coach, artist, like a bunch of things all at once.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. So after that first Mixdown, you said you knew you wanted to do a second one. How many have you done so far?
3 so far.
Okay.
Yeah. The 4th one is on April 21st.
Coming up, man. A couple of weeks. This should be out by then.
Yeah.
Okay, sick. April 21st. If I don't see you there, I'm taking it personal.
It's on.
It's on, man. So is that something you see as like a regular series now?
Yeah. So this year I'm doing 4 Mixdowns for sure in Brampton, because I really want to bring the music to my city.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I want to make it more of a regular thing. I think I'll be doing it quarterly this year. Last year I had kind of a gap. I did it in May. That's when I did the first one. And then the next 2 were November and December.
Okay. So. You're back to back.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was a little scary. I at first didn't know like if people were going to come to either or both, because it was a different time. I did the first one like in May. It was hot outside. People were out on the streets doing everything. It was a good vibe. And I was scared, like, it's snowing outside. I don't want to leave my house. Are these people going to come? They came through. Yeah, and like having 2 shows in such a close proximity was also really scary. I was like doubting myself, I was like, maybe I need to like give them like an incentive to come to both, stuff like that. But no, the people just came through. The artists that I had on the second and third show were also really supportive. They saw the vision for it. They knew what they had to do, and everybody just made it happen.
I love that. What did they have to do? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Like just come like make bangers, or
they had to
promote?
For one bring their A game in terms of their performance.
Yep.
And they did. Like every artist that performed just killed it. And then also just like spread the word, like put out the word, like tell your people to pull up to the show. Right. And they did that. Like,
I love that, man. 'Cause that's that teamwork too. I've learned that over time too. It can't just be you. Like you got to be, I think, the driving force, but you do need some outside help as well. Yeah. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. I was telling them like listen, I don't want you to be performing and have 2 people in the audience for you. I want you to have as many people screaming your words back to you and just rocking with you. And what happened was they had their people doing that, along with the rest of the people who came for the other people, also just so in tune. My favorite thing about the venue that we did it in downtown was how intimate it was. People were instantly just so in tune with the artists performing, and it was wonderful.
That's unreal, man. That's a very good strategy. Like, you want to have a good show? Fucking bring some people out. Yeah. Very smart. I love that, man. And the next one is what theater in Brampton again? Now
it's at a event space. It's a kind of a different vibe, but it's called Century Gardens. It's in a recreation center. Sorry. Dope. Like one of the things that is pretty cool about the Mixdown is that it's like in places that you wouldn't expect. Like people that have told me like we've been to this library a lot of times, or we've walked by here, and never ever did we expect for something like this to go on underneath this library.
I had no idea. It's right across the street from a Green Pea parking lot, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. I had no idea there was concert going on down there. That's crazy. Good for you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you scout locations?
Just look online.
Make it happen. Yeah. Real. And I've said this a million times on this show, but I want to talk about Brampton specifically. So many talented artists, that Toronto artists, like in the city, so many come from Brampton.
For real.
An unbelievable amount. What do you think that is? I have theories, but I want to hear what you think.
I don't know. I think it's the diversity for me at least, like growing up in Brampton, I got to experience so many different cultures, so many different types of people, so many different vibes, and that allowed me to just kind of like expand myself a lot. And then the space, I don't know, there's like this like a good enough amount of space in Brampton for people to just like become something on their own before they like share it with the world. Maybe it's that.
I think that's true, man. I also think it's just like, and I felt this way in Mississauga as well, like sometimes there's just like not much to do. So it's like, let's fucking make some music, you know? But Brampton seems to specifically have landed on music. There's something in the water, I'm convinced.
There's so many artists in Brampton.
A lot of people, if they understood that they came from Brampton, would be shocked.
For real.
It's pretty amazing, man. You ever see yourself leaving the city, like Toronto in general, not just Brampton?
Maybe not. Not right now, to be honest. Like,
I love that answer.
Maybe I'll go to another city, like I'll have like a second home in another city. But like I don't see why I should be leaving my home. Like this, like maybe I'll live in downtown, you know, just to make it easier for myself to like go to events and stuff. But still, there's just so much here for me.
Great answer, man. I love that. That's why I wanted to talk to you as well, because I just love the city that we're in.
Me too.
And people like yourself are doing great things to make it even better. I was talking to people the other day. It's not about like who the government is or, you know, who's in office, about who the people are.
Exactly. It's like what we make of it. Like there's a lot of things to do, a lot of things that we can do, and opportunities and help that we can get from the resources that are available to us, and we just have to make it happen, really.
Super real, man. That's at the end of the day, it's that simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Gotta make it happen.
Literally. Real
shit, man. So, Marie, as a person, do you ever shut off the music? Like, is there a time where you're like, oh, I need a break from this?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, like, sometimes I take breaks from it. Like, I won't be thinking about music. Maybe not thinking about it. I'll still be thinking about it. But, like, I really like to take a break from it by, like, tuning into some good shows, some movies.
What do you like to watch?
I really like mind-bending, psychological thriller type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like them because they, for one, like, I feel like I always learn something about myself in those. They are really captivating experiences. Like, I'll forget about the rest of the world, you know, and I'll just be so into those worlds. And then also, like, this also brings it back to the music, but they feel, like, so, like, captivating in, like, terms of sound and visual experience that, like, I get so inspired by them as well.
No, that's a really good point. Like, a great film score can take a movie to another level.
Yeah.
That's real. What's your favorite thriller?
My favorite thriller, Black Mirror was really good. Yeah. The show, yeah.
There were some crazy episodes of that.
There were, yeah. So well made.
It was very good. Did you see the one with the dating app?
Yes.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that one was really good.
I don't know. Do you think that's where we're going? I hope not.
I hope not, yeah.
But I definitely see that.
I see that. I guess I feel like it's like how you view it. It's like for people how they like approach it, you know? Personally, like I'm more of like a organic type person, right. You know? Like I'll meet people and just connect with them energetically, or I won't. And it's just like, okay.
Facts.
No need to like force what's the word? Like, I don't want to say fake, but it's something, I forgot the word for it, but you know unnatural kind of thing.
Like I feel like it's just like taken a little too serious.
It is. You don't need to be taken serious. Like I have used them, you know, like, but you know, for meeting people, like that's all. Yeah.
100%. Do you have any other like event ideas you have in the future? Maybe not Mixdown related, but other types of things?
Yes. So I actually hosted an event called the Flower City Bloombox. It was like also my first event in Brampton.
Saw you posted about that.
Yeah. So I want to do a lot more like open mic and open concept type events for artists in Brampton as well.
I think I saw my boy Mehus was at one.
He was at the Mixdown, actually. He's performing at the Mixdown, too.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Dope. I got to pull up for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, you definitely have a great gift of bringing people together.
Thank you.
And I think that super commendable because you need to have, like, almost no ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be almost good with not getting credit for the good of the group.
Yeah.
And that's very important, man. To me, that's what a leader is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Thank you.
What else you got coming up?
What else?
Mixdown, the focus.
The Mixdown is right now my biggest focus.
Yeah.
I'm also DJing a couple events, like, all around. So the next event that I have is, like, this Saturday. They won't be able to see it, but this video will be out.
Cut it up.
Yeah.
Dope.
But, I'm DJing, like, an R&B party. And I DJ at, like, clubs and parties a lot. So there's that.
There we go, man. And anyone can hit you for that. If the money's there,
yeah. If you need me to come up and set the vibes, just let me know. Like, I'm there.
What do you play at the? Like, let's say it's more of a hip hop vibe. What do you like to play?
I like to play, like, artist wise.
Yeah.
I really like to play Future.
Oh, I also saw you have some, like, type beats on YouTube. I saw that.
Yeah.
Dope. Anyone rapped over those?
Yes. Yeah.
Sick.
A lot.
Good for you, man.
So yeah, I play a lot of Future, Playboy Cardi, who else? A little bit of Drake. Not too much, but a little bit. The good, like, a healthy amount. Who else? Really like Travis Scott, BK the Ruler. Yeah, just good vibes.
Absolutely. Playboy Cardi's always a good option for a club event.
Yes.
You know?
Turns everybody up a lot.
Very true. Do you have any Toronto artists that you're feeling right now?
Me? Let me see.
Putting you on the spot.
So Spitty, he's from Brampton, but, you know,
yeah. Shout out Spitty,
I would say he's a really, like, really good Toronto artist that I look up to.
This guy doesn't stop, bro. It's like the
real.
Energizer Bunny.
Literally. Yeah.
You know, you're fucking crazy, bro.
And then who else? I can never list people off the top of my head.
But yo, you know what? You're someone that I would look at to see who's popping.
Yeah.
Like, who's coming up. Let me go check who.
I really appreciate that.
You know? No, that's huge, man. I'm very excited for you in the future because I think you're gonna do great things for yourself and for the city. Like,
Thank you.
Yo, you don't understand. Like, when I saw what you were doing, like, this is sick. This is, you know, this is something that we need more of, to be honest. So shout out to you, man. It's important stuff.
Thank you.
100%. We're approaching about an hour. Is there anything you want to promote, plug, talk about?
I'll say, like, I'll plug the Mixdown for one.
Absolutely.
Not that we haven't done that enough already.
No,
but
do it, man.
the Mixdown for sure, like, not only do I want people to, like, come to the show on the next show, but I also want people to just, like, follow the Instagram and, like, tap into the past artists. Like, I feel like I select artists. So this is what I look for in artists when I select them for the Mixdown. It's artists that are, like, really working really hard to put their all into making music their main career, you know? Since I was in high school, there's people in my music class that were around me, or, like, in my tech classes that were, like, just there to be there, you know? They were, like, focused on nursing or other things, and they weren't, like, caring about the music as much as I was. And then I see people like that right now, too. When I go to, like, networking events and stuff, there's people that are taking it seriously in different levels. So for me, like, I really look at artists that are putting their all and grinding into making that their thing, you know, that's them. So yeah, I want you guys to, like, follow the Mixdown on the Instagram, check out the artists that have been on the show so far. They're doing what they need to do to, like, get to where they want to go. So I want to support them. I want you guys to support them. And yeah, it's the Mixdown on Instagram.
Mixdown. Let's get it, man. Yo, I love what you just said as, like, the requirement. Because you didn't say you have to make this type of music, you have to have this amount of followers, you have to this. No, it's like, what's your work ethic like? Are you really hustling? Are you really outside?
Yeah.
That's what's valuable, man. 100%. Have you ever had to turn people down?
Yeah, because as soon as I posted about the first one, people were like, oh, can I perform? Like, and I still get messages to this day about, like, oh, like, can I perform? And it's just, like, there's different, like, there's different ways to approach that too. Like, I see that, or I receive that from different ways. Like, for some, it's just like they're just messaging for another opportunity to perform, not really with intention, you know, to, like, help the Mixdown grow or to, like, grow as an artist. They just want to perform. And then there's some artists that are, like on the same energy as me. And then there's some artists that don't even know what the Mixdown is, and they just want to perform.
That's facts.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be a filter for yourself, too. That's real, man. That's important. That's, again, the business side.
It is.
I actually had one other question for her. What was the biggest challenge you overcame throwing the events?
Throwing it?
Because any single event I've ever been involved with, there's something that happens that's out of our control or unexpected. Was there anything that you dealt with at any of the Mixdowns where you're like, oh, fuck, I was not expecting this?
So for the first one, I'd say, like, before the day of the show, it was, like, tickets were not selling as much as, like, I wanted them to sell, you know?
Right.
Like, it just wasn't showing up the way I expected it to. So that was something that was really stressing me out. I thought, like, maybe marketing could be better. I could do something better in that sense. But it did end up working out. People in the community, what I've learned is that they really like to buy tickets last minute or the day of, which is okay,
Make you
sweat. Yeah. And then another would be like my team that I work with, they're also all just, like, up and coming. They're going with me, you know, the, like, technical team and stuff. So it's just, like, coordinating and making sure we're all on the same page and working in, like, a new space, in a new environment with just everything is new to us. So then that was kind of like a little bit of like a scare, but also it all worked out really well just because the people that are working with me they're bringing their 200%. So
facts.
Yeah.
I'm very big on, like, whatever the situation is, try not to panic.
Yes.
And I feel like events are the perfect thing for that. Like, yo, don't panic.
Exactly.
If you panic,
yeah.
You know? Oh, that's real, man. Yo, I really, really appreciate you coming on. It's an awesome conversation. I love what you're doing. I'm really excited to see what is next for you. The Mixdown, April 21st. Follow the Mixdown. What's your IG?
My IG is PRODBYMRII. So PRODBYMRII.
There we go, man. Follow if you're trying to get involved in the Toronto scene. See who's popping.
Yeah.
Give her a shout.
I'm also I also make alternative R&B music of my own.
Right.
So, like, you can check me out on all platforms at just Marie, MRII. So yeah, listen to my music as well.
I didn't even know you had a separate page.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So yeah.
That's your alter ego.
Yeah, it is.
Dope.
It really is.
Do you perform as well?
I do.
Are you gonna perform at the Mixdown?
So I have in the past at the first and second, and I've done a lot of shows up until today. Up until like last week.
Yeah.
But I'm taking a little break from performing, just to, like, get back in the studio and work on my performance, work on my music.
Dope.
But yeah, I've done a lot of performances up until last Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. New week, new you.
Yes.
There we
literally.
go. Yo, shout out to Marie. Shout out everyone doing their thing. Versatile Vigilante. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Let's get it, man. 2023. Shout out Brampton, too.
For real.
Let's go.